and achieve it without having to slave away for decades, your question should be, how can I increase my perceived value without having to spend an entire decade working my way up? And listen, the answer is you have to find the position that makes companies the most money. The more money you make them, the higher your perceived value is going to be. And the higher your perceived value, the more money you get paid. It's a simple formula that goes like that. And right now, I'm going to give you the 3 best paths that have some of the biggest perceived values out there in the market in 2023. And here's some things you need to know about them. First of all, they all make companies a lot of money, and none of them require you to have a college degree, to study for years before starting to make money, or any previous experience. And by the way, each one of these 3 paths will appeal to different personality types. And most importantly, and I really need this to sink in, different than what most people out there who preach that their way is better. For every single path in this plan that I'm going to recommend to you, I have either made $1 million personally with it, or, and I'd say this is even more powerful, I have paid more than $1 million for people on my team who work such positions or roles in one of my own companies. Which is super interesting, by the way, because most people out there, they think that in order to achieve financial freedom, you need to become the new Iman Gadzhi. And people think like this, even though at the same time, I have dozens of people who work for me and have achieved financial freedom in their own lives, and most people don't even see them or know that they even exist because they work behind the scenes. But they have extremely high perceived value to my companies because they make me a lot of money. As a consequence, they get paid a hell of a lot of money as well. So know that in order to achieve the lifestyle you want, you don't need to become the new Iman Gadzhi by any means. You just need to become someone of value who, for example, individuals like me would pay a lot of money to have working in our companies. Now, before we jump into the first path, I kind of gave you some prerequisites for this plan to work. We discussed 3 keys, so let's go over them real quick. Now, the first one is you cannot expect to have an unconventional future by following the conventional path. And the second one is that in order for you to be successful, you got to be in the industry that moves at the highest speed. And today, there's no arguing it. That industry is the internet. And lastly, you gotta choose something that plays to your strengths rather than your weaknesses. These are really the 3 keys. And as I told you already, implementing them is a must in order to successfully put this plan into practice. Now, I also gave you another mission, if you remember, and that was the Myers-Briggs personality test. And it's really gonna come handy now because every single path inside this plan, I'm actually gonna tell you which personality types performs the best with it, and realistically, which one should probably avoid it. And with this, you're really going to be able to find a path that plays to your strengths rather than your weaknesses. Obviously, each person will have a different path that best fits their specific personality. Now, if you forgot to take the test, don't take it now. I want you to watch this video until the end and then take it as soon as you finish, and then you can rewatch this video and match it up. Now, when it comes to the first path, I'm actually going to start with the one which personally turned me from a broke high school dropout to making my first $1 million by the age of 18. And you've already probably heard me talk about it before, which is a service-based business. And this is actually the only business model in this list. The other 2 options don't actually require you to start a business at all. Now, before I talk about them, let me explain why this is the only business worth starting in 2023. You see, the way this works is very simple. There are countless services out there that businesses pay anywhere from $1,000 a month all the way up to $10,000 a month for. Let me just name a few. We've got web development, paid advertising, email marketing, content creation, graphic design, and there's a lot of people out there who are very good at fulfilling these services, but they really struggle to get the clients. So all we do here is we simply connect the 2. So first, we have to find the businesses that are looking for these services. And then we go ahead and find the people who are actually good at fulfilling these services and hire them as contractors. And this is what I like to call the Expedia business model. I mean, really think about travel websites like Expedia or Booking.com. All they do is connect someone who wants to travel with hotels that offer accommodation in the city that that person is traveling to. It's really that simple. And by the way, maybe you didn't know this, but they do hundreds of millions of dollars a year by doing that. And the cool thing is they don't have to worry about servicing the client because the hotels, well, they take care of that for them. And in our case, it's the same thing. You see, we don't have to become experts at paid traffic or web development. We just get a contractor who gets all the services delivered for us. And I call this business model an ROI agency. Now, for those of you that didn't know, ROI stands for return on investment. And I call it an ROI agency because we really need to focus on services that have a high return on investment for our clients, because these are the services that clients pay the most amount of money for. And as I said, this can range anywhere from $1,000 a month to $10,000 a month, because these are the services that clients pay the most money for. As I said, it can range anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. And very important is that that's not a one-time fee. They pay you that every single month. And here's the real beauty of it. We take advantage of a little loophole that I like to call contractor arbitrage. And what that is actually very simple. As I mentioned, we outsource all the work to a contractor, and we work a deal with the contractor so that they get paid based on the amount of clients that they service. So let's say you get one client. Well, they get paid for that one client. If you get 5 clients, well, then they get paid for 5 clients. Now, if 2 of those clients leave you, well, you won't be paying them for 5 clients. They'll now only get paid for the 3 clients that you have. And by the way, most importantly is that clients will always pay you upfront before any work gets done. That's just very normal when you're working with agencies. And you always pay the contractor after they fulfill the services. So this way, you literally have 0 risk on your end because you're always going to get paid before the contractor even does any work. And this way, there's never going to be a situation where you have to pay a contractor and you haven't gotten paid yet. You only ever pay them after the money is already in your pocket. So it is literally a 0 risk business. And there will never be a situation where you find yourself in debt or burn a bunch of money in the same way that you will with a lot of these other business models that all these other knuckleheads on YouTube are suggesting to you. Now, we usually pay contractors anywhere from $200 to $500 per client, while we charge those same clients $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month. And that, by the way, is why this is a superior business model to start as a beginner. And I really want to make something clear to you here. You're going, oh, why would we pay contractors $200 to $500 per month per client, but then we charge clients 5 times that? What do you think happens when you go to a law firm? A lawyer that works at a law firm gets paid $200 grand a year, but brings in $1 million of business for that law firm. When you go to a creative agency, a graphic designer there gets paid 40 grand a year, but yet takes on 300 grand of client projects. So we're doing the exact same thing as all of these traditional businesses, but the key thing we're doing is we're using talent from all over the world, and that's where the arbitrage factor comes into.